The 61st Knoxville Nationals will officially get underway just after 7 o'clock tonight, with roughly half of the 100-plus drivers taking what they hope will be their first step towards sprint car immortality. Brian Shawn is as excited about that as anybody, and we'll send it down to him now for a special edition of Inside Track, presented by My Place Hotels.
Beautiful blue skies, and finally we have reached the 61st annual NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's, and we are pleased to be joined by Jeremy Elliott, the editor and publisher of SprintCarUnlimited.com, covering everything sprint car across the entire nation and the globe. But you are based out on the East Coast, and that's kind of where your background is from, and people in our area may not understand how big sprint car racing is in Pennsylvania out there.
It's huge. It's the biggest area in the country for sprint car racing, and luckily I was born there and still live there. But I like to get out to places like Knoxville, Eldora. I've been to California, kind of all over Charlotte. At the end of the year is important because that's where all the silly season stuff kind of kicks up. So yeah, I mean, Pennsylvania is a great hotbed for sprint car racing. It's known across the country, and like I said, I'm just lucky that I'm based out of there. Yeah,
and Pennsylvania is a place too that people don't know. The Pennsylvania posse, they kind of have this, I don't want to say it's animosity, but certainly a competition towards the World of Outlaws when they come out there. They take it very seriously when the Outlaws come to town.
Oh yeah, it's huge. I would say the Pennsylvania people take it more serious than the Outlaws take it even. It's kind of like the Eagles and the Cowboys. Cowboys don't consider the Eagles a rivalry, but the Eagles certainly consider Dallas a rivalry. So, yeah, no, it's huge when they get to the Williams Grove, Lincoln, Port Royal, places like that. And it filters out to when the posse guys travel out to Eldora or like the Knoxville Nationals.
Speaking of Knoxville, one of the names, the trendy names from your neck of the woods over the last month and a half is Brent Marks. That's a guy that everybody's kind of wondering, can he continue to put it together the way he has? Had the big week at Eldora, won the historical big one, won the Kings Royal, beat the Outlaws at Williams Grove earlier this year. Is he a favorite? Is he not a favorite? Where does he fit into the mix here?
You know, I've been thinking about that probably since he won the Kings Royal and historical big one. He's not as good here as he is Eldora. I even said earlier in the year he has a really good chance of winning at Eldora. It's a place he's always been good at. Knoxville, not as strong, but then again, he won in July here, so or June here, I'm sorry, but then he finished 22nd the second night. So he's good here. He made the A-main last year, started in the top 5 last year. So I think he's one of the favorites. I think he's going to be a factor. And I think the other interesting thing about Brent Marks is he didn't race all weekend. He took the weekend off. He didn't run the Ironman at Peevely. He didn't run the Capitani Classic, and he didn't run the Front Row Challenge. So they're doing things on their own terms to qualify, to get as many points as possible, and really set up their Knoxville Nationals.
Kyle Larson, the defending champion. Is he the favorite? Who would you consider the favorite here? Or maybe there isn't one this year.
I think this year's a little more open than ever. You know, normally we come in here and it's Donnie Schatz, or that's the name we all know. Kyle Larson, obviously, I think the last couple years has been that guy. And, you know, you'll get a Brad Sweet and a David Gravel. This year, you know, Donnie's not, I would say, the team's not as good as it's been, obviously, with the Ford power plant. They've struggled over the last few years. So he's not the clear-cut favorite. David Gravel struggles in dirty air this year, I think. Not clear-cut favorite. Carson Macedo, he has some peaks and valleys. Brad Sweet, and he's only won on a half mile, I think, once in the last 40-some races. So then Kyle Larson isn't qualifying as well, but he won at the Front Row Challenge the other night, and he said he felt really comfortable. That's dangerous for the field. So I think it's a little more wide open, but I think you got like 5 or 6 guys there who I think hit that favorite category.
There's been a lot of multi-day shows added this summer, more big money shows, more money is coming into the sport. But it feels like Knoxville has the edge just because of all the other stuff going on, all the fan events. Is that what makes this one special?
Yeah, look, it doesn't pay the most or until they upped it to $175,000 there in the last week or two. But prestige, this is the one everybody wants to win. The towns around it, it's all the hoopla around it, it's the crowd, it's the lights, the glamour, the glitz that we all talk about. And it's the guys who've won this in the past. It's the history of this race. The big check doesn't hurt either. But yeah, it's the granddaddy of them all, as they say. It's the Daytona of sprint car racing.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time, Jeremy, coming over. And again, be sure to check out Jeremy's stuff on sprintcarunlimited.com. Has a lot of content on there, both in the written word, also with his podcast. So thank you for your time.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure.